Hey guys, welcome back to my shop. So today we are making the super spiffy grill tool gift bundle. There's several things we're doing to make this special, so if you stick around, I'm going to share with you a big announcement, how you can get some sweet discounts on these, and how one lucky person is going to get the one that you see me make here today for free. So we're making this bundle out of two of my most popular grill tools, which would be the shish kebabs, which you've seen me make here before, and the Rubik's Cube Twist or Rubik's Tower Twist steak flippers. Now, if you follow my Facebook or Instagram a lot, this will be nothing new to you. So we're going to go more in depth on these today to add a little bit more value for everyone. But we're going to start off making a quick batch of these shish kebabs. First, I'm going to go give these a wash. Then we're going to mark them, cut them, deburr them, tapering them, again, searing my flesh off by accident, scroll them, bending them again, straighten them, fire wheel them, and clean them. Now that that's done, let's start on our steak flippers. I make these from a single railroad spike. I buy these new. Don't go around stealing them from the tracks. That is illegal. You can get them from a family-owned business called Get Spikes, and they ship flat rate, thank goodness. The first thing we do is dress the spike. We want all the sharp edges, burrs, and stuff like that gone. We also want to take the thin tip off. We're just going to grind that back, and that helps prevent a cold shut from forming in the end. Cold shut being where there's a little air gap that can cause a failure later down the line or during use, neither of which is good, obviously. Once that's done, we'll get it nice and hot and take down the material in the handle area. This is important as we don't need all that mass there, and it can add a lot to the length. I've drawn a single railroad spike out to about 21 inches before, and I can do that even without a power hammer. You can do it. Now we're going to flip it around and start on the other end. I feed it into the power hammer to isolate the pressure to forge faster, and as it gets longer, I'll compare it to a ruler. I want it a little under length off the flat dies, as I'll be forging the faces and corners more with some rounded dies for a better hand-forged sort of texture. I cannot stand flat die marks. I even take it to the anvil to smash off the little step at the back by hand. Once the faces are textured and the corners are knocked off up until our handle area, I like to touch mark and stamp it while the sides are still straight and flat. So I don't have an order that I need to customize for this video, so instead, for my brothers and sisters out there, I'm just going to put the reference to one of my favorite Bible verses. This one is 1 Peter 1:13, which says, "Therefore, preparing your minds for action and being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ." With that done, I'll do the twist next. If I did the curl first, I wouldn't have as much of a long handle to grab it with while I have all this heat in the handle, because my goal is to not use gloves or tongs or get burnt. Yeah, goals. So there's nothing special about chiseling in the lines. You just want the cuts pretty deep, and you want them to start and stop in the same places, so that when you use the angle grinder to get your perpendicular cuts, you don't have these weird parts sticking out past. Right? And I like to use a worn out disc on the angle grinder because that's a little smaller radius and you can reach in farther. I typically use the angle grinder because it leaves a nice square corner on the cubes. And then you see that I'm just laying it out by eye with a paint marker and then transfer it over to the other corner after I've cut the one side. Pretty simple. Now when we twist it, it's actually easier in a coal forge where you can localize the heat more to the areas that are thicker and therefore have more resistance, because it's going to twist first wherever you have the least resistance, which is going to be farther down the taper that we established where it's thinner. Another way that you can counteract that is to apply water to certain areas and cool them off. I usually keep a can of water handy no matter which way I do it, just because you never know how it's going to go. Once the twist is done, you want to make it straight with the bar, or at least the bar right up by the handle, as the rest can be adjusted later if it hasn't been kept straight. I use a wooden mallet and backer board on my vise stand to straighten it, but a rawhide mallet will also work. You really just want to make sure that whatever you hit it with is soft enough that you don't crush the corners. Now we flip it around and put a little curl on the end. I like to curl it on the horn and then bend it up in the vise, and of course finish it out by hand at the anvil. One thing to be careful of is the orientation. The hook to the right is for right-handed folks, and the hook off to the left is for left-handed folks. It's pretty simple compared to the puzzle of stamping the lettering and my touch mark before twisting it and having them all line up on the sides that you want. It shouldn't be that hard, but it is. Maybe I'm just nuts. Now we give it a final straightening before finish. Any hammer blows after this point may show up on the finished piece, so get her all good to go now. To start the finish, I like to soak it in vinegar for about 24 hours. I use 20 to 30% acidity, frequently sold as a weed killer at home improvement stores, but regular household vinegar should work. I've heard that that will work even when watered down. The acidity in the vinegar loosens and removes the scale, which is just an iron oxide that forms on the surface of the material when heated. Once it's soaked, you'll want to use a baking soda solution to neutralize the acid, and then just rinse it off before wire wheeling it. Now, you may not have to do the baking soda. I just prefer to because I don't want there to be any reactions still happening under the wax. I don't really know how all that works, so I just want to be safe. So weirdly, despite leaving it in for 24 hours, the main purpose of this for me is to save time. Some scale is okay in theory, but in practice, I am very particular. And this takes like a 20 to 30 minute wire wheeling job down to about 1/10 of that. Basically, it brings it down to one pass. Once that's done, the last thing I do before sealing it is sharpening. If you forged it out nice and pointy like this one, you can just do it with a file. If you're a lazy forger and a good grinder, you can use a 36 grit and then a 120 grit belt, but I like to forge well and file little. I sharpen it last to reduce the risk of stabbing myself, especially if it were to get away from me during wire wheeling, which I've had happen before. It's horrifying, which, by the way, the hook on the end is very dangerous to get inside of with a wire wheel, so use your brain and realize your femoral artery is more important than getting every bit of scale. Now it's totally ready to go, and if you've made one yourself this far, way to go. It's ready to seal, and for that I personally like to use beeswax. This is natural, traditional, and food safe. I use this little torch because it gives a nice soft and clean heat, so I don't overheat any spots and oxidize it. And if you use something like your coal forge or anything that has a dirty fuel, you'll get whatever is in the smoke in the wax. So always use a clean flame, just get it a couple hundred degrees and rub it on. Basically, you don't want it smoking, but you do want it to melt onto it and get down into all the crevices, into the scale pattern, into all the cuts on the twist. You can use another rag and wipe some off if it gets too thick, wax on, wax off kind of thing. And if you get a spot that has lumps on it, sometimes, or like maybe not a lump, but a run, sometimes you can just hit it with the torch again, and then it melts that and redistributes over the surface. And that's a wrap, which means that it is announcement, discount, free stuff time. So, announcement first, so you have context for the rest of what I'm going to tell you. At the time of this video going live, what will also be live is my new website. Link in the description, blazingemberforge.com. That's where you can find this stuff. That's the only place that I'm going to list these gift bundles for sale. So to celebrate launching my site, I have put the whole thing on 10% off. So that's just a flat discount that you're going to get on these. But because I wanted these to be extra special, extra valuable, it's a milestone for me, I have listed these at an extra 10% off. Use discount, whatever I put up on the screen. It'll be in the description as well by the link to my site. So I'll tell you why else that's a great deal and why you need one for yourself. First off, this bundle is aimed at men. It is tools for meat, the ultimate gift for men. Not sorry. So the reason that's important is that in my family, we do gifts by drawing names, and we literally have the men draw separately because none of the poor women know what the heck we want. So I've solved that problem for your life. You're welcome. Meat, tools. Also, as we went over in the video, these are personalized. This one has a Bible verse reference, but you could easily put someone's name on there, initials, or a date. Let me show you my stamps real quick.
Okay, so this is the set that I normally suitable. They will survive working in this environment. Treatment, all that. So to kind of work around that, I got it's upper and it just makes it cool because it doesn't cost anything extra.
But wait, there's more.
I've also added these leather straps on here, which I might get one that's a little bit thicker. We'll see. This is what I had on hand. But anyways, this is the first time that I've offered this. I don't know that I will offer it after these bundles. It's not the easiest thing in the world because I'm very particular. You get on each side through with the head and the twist and everything up there.
But that is an extra option. I'll probably put it on there for a couple extra bucks if that is something that you want. And lastly, because I totally forgot to put it in earlier, what everyone has been wanting is how you can get this one for free, because everyone likes free stuff, as long as it's not koozie. Why does everyone give out free koozies? No one uses those. Stop! Anyway, so this set will be a separate listing. There's going to be one of them, and it's going to be set at free. I looked into doing a giveaway on here. Holy cow, legal complications all over the place. I'm not into that. So I've just put this up on my site for free. So the first person to go grab it gets it. Ethan of the future here. So basically I have 3 addendums. Number 1 is that my site wouldn't actually let me offer free shipping on a single item. So I can take care of that for you in 2 ways. Number 1 being I can just stuff cash in your box, easy, whatever. I can also give you additional skewers and greater value than the shipping cost. Addendum number 2 is that if you want a different steak turner than the one that you saw me make here today, that's totally fine. Both of these things I just talked about, you can select at checkout how you would like to resolve those issues. And as a third thing, I'm only shipping in the lower 48 right now because my brain is about to explode with all of the learning that I've done setting this up. There's only so much that I can do at the moment. But we'll get there, check back, send me an email, a message, all that jazz. Yep, it's going to be this with a set of the shish kebabs as well. But with all of that said, I think that's pretty much everything. I hope you grab one, enjoy it, give one away, whatever you feel like doing. I'm very, very happy to have launched my site. It was a ton of work. Right, so I've been thinking about, because I don't know that a lot of people actually know how to take care of carbon cooking tools.
So I've been thinking about making a video on that, but also releasing, it would just be like a small product pack of the things that I use, including my own mixtures of kind of wax and stuff, and different cleaning things that I use. So if that would provide value for you, let me know in the comments below, and I'll consider making a video on that and getting
those available for you guys. But thank you for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. It's embarrassing, but I have one. Yep. I hope you guys have a great day.